So today we are going to talk about SAP Ariba. As you might already know, Ariba is not a SAP company. It was their own company. I think it is established in 1996. Ariba was established, and then they were very good in procurement solution, business applications, and procurement solution. They went to cloud solution in 2000 somewhere 11 or not exactly. I could not recall the year, and they're very good in networking also. So SAP has proposed them in 2012. They want to reach to the global level. So if it is Ariba, as a standalone Ariba, they will not be able to reach to many business network. They want to have a wider range. So that's why they accepted Ariba acquisition by SAP. Since 2000, in Ariba, SAP has acquired it in 2012. From 2012 onwards, it was provided only as a cloud solution. Ariba was available as a on-premise as well as cloud solution. On-premise, you already know what is the standard procedure of operating in on-premise solution, because the consultants or the engineers need to be at the client's location and install the application, do all the testing. Once go live, provide your support, and then you will be leaving from the project. Coming to the cloud solution, it is no more required. It is a application you can able to access anywhere in the world. That would be main advantage. And also you don't need to maintain hardware costs as well as installations by engineers visiting to your place. That is not required. And hardware cost itself is a huge component, because you need to have air conditioned and cooled environment to maintain your servers. If there is some damage happen, that is affected to you only, your company, and that will be huge loss. Now, since Ariba is a cloud platform which is providing a solution, it is the responsibility with the SAP to maintain the server available for 24/7, and they could take care of the security functions as well as application functions. So mostly recent past, the downtime of Ariba is limited to 99.5 or something like that. That means only few hours in 3 months. So for a 3 months of period, if you are taking about 6 hours or 4 hours, that will be the downtime. So Ariba was providing that continuity support. They are having different data centers located, for example, in US and in Gulf side, it is established in Saudi Arabia. So what is this data centers? When your client is taking Ariba application, that will be on a particular data center. So all your related data will be maintained in that particular data center. Earlier it was from US and UK. What happened is Gulf countries wanted their data to be maintained in their own region. They don't want to be maintained in external region. These are all part of our growth from all the data restrictions, where you do not want to maintain your data in another country. So they are establishing more and more data centers. That's about different topic. Okay, this is at least to have an overview. This will help you. And the platform which Ariba launched is called Software as a Service. So that means SAP will build the application. You will be using that application like an end user, not an end user. You will be subscribing to the Ariba application. You will be utilizing it. So during normal deployment, what you will be taking is you will be taking your business requirements. First, consultant will visit the client premises. Here, the advantage, before even you visit the client premises, already salespeople might have approached them and they might have already discussed the product features, and they will be telling you, we are going ahead with only one module or suite integrated module. So half of the work is already established. So now you need to go to the client's place, explain or provide a demo as a proof of concept. You will be providing a demo like how the application will be, what is the features and all, whether that will suit your customer requirement or not. If there is any additional things are required, that you need to work with SAP. If that is that functionality is available, they will enable it. If that functionality is not available, they will suggest for a workaround and wait for another period until that application get developed. So SAC is the platform, software as a solution. Ariba take care of that. Ariba provide the application, that is only end user access. So basically, your client will be needing only URL and a password. Again, it is a single sign-on. Single sign-on is possible, so that you can integrate with your existing authentication method, and you can able to log in. That is a very brief about the Ariba side. What is Ariba? And since, as I mentioned, once it is SAP has acquired, so it is having a good wide range. So in 2012, the peak has been established. 2017 and 18 onwards, so the sales volume of Ariba has gone into a phenomenal increase, and they were unable to provide a support also. There is a, I mean, that is again different topic. So when we raise the tickets with SAP for some configuration or some bugs or some issues or whatever you're raising, so that the response time is taking time. So then Ariba has internally acknowledged that there is a huge demand because there is a lot of deployment. There are no such resources are available to handle that because this is their own. They're the product owners, so they know what is the coding and all. It is not available for the other users. So they need to provide the training and other activities for a new freshers also. That is taking time. Ariba is continuously putting efforts to increase the support, reduce support time. So the architecture at the overlay, if you are saying, so we will be having a buyer account. Similarly, supplier will be having one account. This is basically called network. So we'll be having Ariba network account as a buyer account, as a supplier account, and the third one will be sourcing and contracts or Ariba spend management. We can call any number of ways. In over course or over outside market, you will be hearing different names. One may be sourcing or contract management, supplier management, Ariba buy, Ariba invoicing, suite integration, cloud solution, web services. All are related to this particular module, which we will be. This is a one user interface, and in user interface, if you're saying this will be one user interface. Buyer account will be one user interface, supplier account will be one interface. So we'll be having access to Ariba spend management through a URL and password. Once we enter username and password, you will be able to log into the Ariba spend management. Similarly, the integration between this and buyer account. This is seamless integration. That means it's in the backend. Ariba take care. Whatever you perform here, that is available in buyer account. So the communication, for example, a PR is sent to the supplier. PR is sent to a supplier. This is a simple scenario. The PR is created in Ariba spend management. It will be immediately available in buyer network. Through buyer network, it will be communicated to the supplier network. So each buyer and supplier will be having different AN ID. It is called Ariba network ID. Again, now Ariba is replacing the name, calling as Ariba network into SAP business network. No more it is calling Ariba network, it is calling as a SAP business network. Maybe sometime you will not even see SAP business network because SAP has acquired, so they don't want to continue using this Ariba network, or the network functionality has been increased to a vast volumes. So that means even you can able to collaborate with the Ariba supply network. Without Ariba also you can able to communicate. That is the reason that has been expanded. So business network it is calling. So from PR to supplier, you'll be having one environment called Ariba spend management. Buyer will be one environment. Supplier will be one environment. The supplier part will be taken care by the supplier itself. We are not going to entertain or we are not going to take care of any support related issues also. What will happen? The supplier will be contacting 24/7 support or whatever based on their agreement with the Ariba. They will be having their own access. So the support will be taken care by them. So as a consultant, we are going to provide support only to these two. The spend management, the buyer network. These two are our areas of handling responsibility. Before I continue, is it clear so far whatever I have explained?
Regarding this network, there are three types of things you have said, right? Buyer account, supplier account, and something contract and spend management, and so on.
Yeah.
So similar like this, will we be having any user accounts like that? Like how we have an SAP like that?
User accounts will be there. User accounts will be both as per Ariba spend management, and buyer will be having different user accounts has to be maintained in three realms. Supplier will be taken care by the supplier. buyer side, it is again Ariba consultants or Ariba's management. Management also will be having username and password. Yes, you're right.
Okay, who will be taking care of these administration generally? Will it be from the client side or from SAP direct?
No, client side only, client side. So
Okay.
your users, so when we coming to the integration topics that are user management topics, we'll be explaining more.
Okay.
Generally, what will happen is users you don't need to maintain in Ariba. You can also integrate with your backend system, or if your HR module is different, maybe what is called Workday or any other HR module. So the user data can be synced with that particular system. So any changes made in that user will be getting reflected in Ariba immediately. So single sign-on also available. All these things are possible. Again, so but you need to have a username and password in order to access it. So how we are maintaining user management, that is again our client's net responsibility only, not SAP's. SAP's responsibility is to only provide URL, username and password is by ourselves. So in order to access it, you need to have a URL. That application, web post application is the responsibility of SAP.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Let's talk about something called modules. In Ariba, what are all the modules are available? At modules, when you're saying, it is not actually a module, it is something specific to the business area. So Ariba divides this into 3 processes: plan, buy. The third one you can say monitor. So what is plan, buy, monitor will be, during planning stage, you are going to create the environment for your end users to utilize it. So for that, we will be having sourcing, contract, supplier, or SLP. Now, Ariba has simplified the names also. You will be Ariba, you will be calling sourcing management, contract management, supplier management. You might be hearing the names called contract lifecycle management, supplier lifecycle performance, Ariba sourcing, event management, all are related to different namings only that you don't need to confuse. In simple words, it is basically sourcing management, contract management, supplier management. So what we are going to define here is, at this stage, for example, if I'm taking the supplier, so how your supplier is onboarded, how your supplier's performance is evaluated, how your supplier is maintained, all these things will be taken care in upstream solution. That is called an upstream solution. Once your supplier is established, then you will be having a sourcing. So sourcing means you want to find out source of supply. So here your role will be for particular commodity or a service, who is the best preferred supplier. So that is the responsibility of, again, in procurement activities, you can divide it into 2. The senior management or a general senior management or normal management. So what is the senior management responsibility or senior procurement manager's responsibility will be is to develop more and more relationship with the supplier, having a contractual prices, so that you don't need to repetitively do. For example, your client company is having, if they want to purchase particular stationery. So each time a sourcing request or a material request comes to sourcing department, so they will find out from the different sources of supply and evaluate them and give you the prices, and then you will be releasing a PO. That is one process. Again, next month also they need stationary items. So instead of keep on continuing every time the same process, what you're going to find that for stationary kind of a commodity, who is the best supplier? So you will find out the source of supply for this stationary item for over a period of 12 months. Then you will have a contract with them for the next 12 months. Sourcing, anyone is requesting a stationary item, they can directly get from this particular supplier, because we have evaluated this supplier will be a good supplier for our upcoming request. So that is what you're going to establish under the planning stage of a sourcing. Then again, as soon as your sourcing evaluation is completed, you will be having a legal agreement, or you will be having this transaction to flow into the buyer side. Will be using contract management module to establish the legal obligation with the buyer as well as seller having a contract, so that against that contract you can utilize buying of your stationery item. These are all process is taken care in planning stage. That's called upstream solution. Coming to the buy side, here you are going to use basically something like an end user responsibility. So what here will happen is, now we already know who is the supplier and for what commodity he is best, whether we are having a contractual limits also. Contractual limits also help you in restricting the buying. So suppose stationery spend for particular company cannot reach more than 500,000. So you can have a contract limit on that. So they will not able to more than purchase that 500,000 across the company. That is possible during contract management. Now these are all already established. Now what end user will do, he will logging into the Ariba, he will select stationery item, then he clicks on buy now, something like that, add to cart or proceed to the next one. What will happen, system will create a purchase requisition and send for an approval process. So again, approval process will be configuring ourselves. So what will approval process can be, for example, if the purchase requisition is less than 500, I do not need any approval. Immediately, the purchase requisition will be approved, PO will be created, and PO will be sent to the supplier. You can have an approval process. Any purchase requisition, one supervisor has to approve. Then you can configure in that way. As soon as the user is submitted, it will go to the supervisor and supervisor will approve it. Then you can also have different approval processes. Like, for example, if asset is purchased, then it has to go to asset manager for his evaluation, because he has to give you the asset ID and what is the depreciation he need to maintain. Approval flows can be configured. So that is at the buy stage. So here basically you are utilizing whatever agreed in upstream. And you will also have, once you place the order, now the next step will be receiving and invoicing. So that are all process of buying management: plan, buy, and monitor. Here you are going to do admin activities. So which is the user capital, which user having, what is the approval limit, whether performance of a supplier need to be increased. All these things we'll be seeing under monitoring activity. This is for continuous evaluation. So here what we'll be doing, there are two things of, now whatever we discussed is already there is a catalog item is available, we are purchasing through. That means there is existing relationship with particular product and supplier is available. So still you're continuously, now I have given an example for stationery. Now there is a some requirement has come for machinery tools, which is not existing in your existing relationship with the supplier. In this stage, what will happen? Again, you will reach to the procurement department. They will analyze the supplier, source of supplier. They will do that activity. So at monitoring stage, what they do is they will find out how many number of such items are created. That's called non-catalog item. Okay. So under non-catalog items, whatever you are purchasing, non-catalog items, those items will be reviewed and they will start establishing a relationship with the suppliers. These are all activities. Accordingly, now the modules can be divided as sourcing, contract module, supplier. This is also called SLP, SAPM, SPM. Anything you are calling, the same thing only. Under contract, you will be also called CLM, Contract Lifecycle Management, or contract terms, contract compliance. Compliance is nothing but establishing from upstream to downstream. We will call contract compliance. Contract terms also same thing only. Under sourcing, you will be hearing something like events, auctions, RFP, request for proposal, RFI, Dutch auction, English auction, Japanese auction, something like that. All you are going to hear. These are all part of this particular module. Then we will be having buying. So in buying, again, you will be limited to procure to order, P2O scenario, P2P, procure to pay. But this will not come as part of buying. So it will stop with procure to order. So when we are talking about invoicing, this time we will be called the full solution as procure to pay. Again, sometimes you will also hear source to S2O, source to order, source to contract. I will put it that as a different scenarios. Apart from that, you will also hear catalogs. This is part of buying. Then you will also have guided buying. So these catalogs are part of buying. Guided buying, don't get confused. So guided buying is again like what you have seen here, 3 environment. This is also one more layer on top of your standard buying process. This will ease the end user's accessibility. So instead of showing go, create, and all those things, it will show in a navigation form. So that is guided buying. The usernames, passwords all remain same. There is no master data, additional master data required for guided buying. That we will be talking as part of the training also. These are all modules. So sourcing module, content module, supplier, buying, and invoicing. These are the 5 modules which are important as a functional consultant. There is also, you might also hear additional things like risk management, supplier risk, supplier spend management. These are all additional. On top of this, Ariba provides exclusively for the particular purpose. For example, when we are talking about supplier risk, so the risk evaluated, there will be some companies, they are evaluating the supplier risk continuously. They will be monitoring the share values, their marketing spends, and how their payments are done. All these things are monitored by these specialized companies. When you are having integration with particular supplier evaluation companies, your risk also monitored in Ariba application. So that is part of the supplier risk. Okay, these 5 are the major modules. Ariba provides these modules collectively, or you can take independently also. That means your client can go ahead with only contract management, or he can buy only buying solution, or he can only take supplier, or he can take combinedly also. He can take sourcing and buying is possible, sourcing and invoicing also possible, contract and buying is also possible, or he can take all together. That is called integrated, suite integrated. That means suite integrated environment, where you are having access to all the modules from sourcing to buying, ending the process. You will be having suite integrated environment. Is this clear? Now, since we discussed this, we also discussed that network. So whatever these activities will be trained from Ariba spend management, which will go via Ariba buyer network and Ariba supplier network. So let's take you to the Ariba screens. You can even read that what is called the tab headline will be Ariba spend management. In the URL, whenever you are seeing buyer, this is a tip actually. Whenever you are seeing a buyer, that means you are in a downstream solution. Whenever you are doing other than buyer, like sourcing, then that will be upstream solution. So here you need to enter username and password. So once you logging into this one, this is basically called your home page, landing page, or your Ariba user interface. Before that, I just also need to explain one more thing. So going to the top. FPC, Federated Process Control. Suppose your client is having Oracle solution as well as SAP solution also. He is using Oracle and SAP solution. In Oracle also he is doing procurement. In SAP also doing a procurement. Probably Oracle is being used in Europe countries and SAP is being used in America country. So these two you can integrate with one particular sourcing module. So upstream will be having one or parent side, we generally call integration with downstream, Oracle and child, that is called child. You can have child 1, child 2. So the basically upstream will be having parent and downstream will be having child 1, child 2. So to navigate between parent and child, it is possible. So the advantage of here will be whenever you're communicating with Oracle related master data, you're going to talk. Whenever you're going to talk with SAP, you're going to talk related to SAP related master data. What is SAP related master data? You'll be having plan, purchase group, purchase organization. Under accounting side, you will be having WBS elements or internal orders, cost centers. So suppose in Oracle, maybe they will be having, I'm not sure from the Oracle side, they might be having different org structure or different accounting types. So whenever we're talking to child side, we can able to talk as per their requirement. But parent can be only one only. You can have one parent, but communication with the child will be in different things. So how we will be navigating between upstream and downstream, which I'm going to show you right now. So as soon as I log in, on the right hand side, you can see Madam Curie child. That means I am currently in a child environment. and you can URL site you can see buyer. How do I log back to the sourcing? There is on the next to your name there is one kind of an arrow site. Once you click on that, then it will tell you what is your parent site. Click on that, it will take you to the parent site. Suppose your client do not have multiple ERP system, then directly you can access from without having this child relationship, you can able to access it. So now we are in upstream side. So you can able to see Madam query. This can be configured. So how the name you want that can be configured. Generally, you will be having child where extension will be added that to refer that as a child site. Whenever you log in, Ariba is only having two environment. One is test environment, second is production environment. Whatever during our practice we are going to do only in test site. We are not going to do anything on a production side. That way, nobody will give a production side access also. And on something like other than like sandbox environment where your data in test site and production site is different, but here more 90% of whatever you are doing in test, same thing will be you are going to perform in upstream also. The look and feel, accessing menu, everything remains same. Before you deploy, if you do some changes in production, you need to test that in your test environment. Once it is successful, you will be doing the replicating the same thing in production also. It is not possible to do transporting kind of activity. But there are certain activities like you are enabling some parameter as part of the requirement that can be moved to the production after testing. That is possible. But 90% of your scenario, like you are changing something template differences or something, that you need to replicate the same in production also. There is no way of transports available in Ariba. Some companies, in rare companies, they will also take one more site apart from test and production. They might take one more for like regression or some development system that can be used as per their convenience. That means during development side, they will just do whatever they want to do a trial and error basis. But comes to the test and production, they try to maintain same set of settings in these two environments. That is a rare scenario. Basically, the client who is having good money, they will be going with, because each relay will be costly. The supplier has to pay, the customer has to pay. That's different financial angles. Okay, once you logging into the home page, what you are seeing on the right hand side will be user menu, where you will be seeing with your username. Once you click on that, it will give you some options to change your things. For example, you can change your password, change your secret question, change your default locale. Basically, this is useful to navigate from your language, from English to some other language, Japanese language or Chinese language. You can do that. I think about 13 languages are supported by Ariba, which is in past time. Now, I don't know, it's increasing maybe. You can also activate your mobile devices. Again, in order to use mobile devices, there is a role. If your role, your username is added into that particular role. Role is nothing but permissions. In SAP, we have basis team will be giving you the access. But here, it is Ariba consultants only, or Ariba administrators. They will be providing the actions, user profiles. Okay. If you're part of that mobile device, what you're going to do is you're going to download the Ariba app from Play Store or App Store. From there, once you click on Activate Mobile, it will give you some, say, 8-digit passcode or 6-digit passcode that you need to enter in that interface. Then automatically, this login details will be connected with the mobile application. Similarly, later, if you don't want to use that mobile activation, you can click on that deactivate. That will show whatever the mobiles are activated, then you can deactivate that. Again, here, there is one more menu will come. It is for the test site, we are not getting it. So what will happen in that one will be, when you're clicking on that, it will ask you to create user profile. So what is your user profile? What is your language selected? What are all the roles assigned? If you want to add additional roles, you can do that, and it will go to the next level of approval. From there, you can able to get your roles access. That is a self-service menu. And these are all not required. Desktop file sync, which we will be talking when we're talking about contract management. Earlier, Ariba, in order to do something between your system and Ariba system, what you need to do is you need to keep a folder. In that folder, you need to enter the values. That values will get replicated once you logging into Ariba. Now it is no more required because Ariba stopped this desktop file thinking. This is only environments of 2017 or before. If they're still using desktop file segments for them only. For the 90% of customers are already migrated. This is no more required. Dashboard preferences. You can change your dashboard preferences, and we'll just see the themes. So what you are seeing is a light SAP blue theme. If you do not like this theme, you can go with light theme. Okay, it will not show some kind of ribbons here. That you can able to manage. This is called self-service menu. Change dashboard preferences. See what is dashboard preferences. Okay. This is a simple thing. Show confirmation page when deleting a dashboard tab. Show confirmation page when deleting an item from dashboard. So what is that it is saying is, so depending upon your access, like you are seeing on the home page, this is the module sourcing, contract, supplier. Once you click on more, it will give you other options also. So in order to access this, you need to have different roles. For example, you have provided, you are a user, you are going to only purchase some requisitions. You are only eligible for purchase requisition. In that case, you will not be having access to sourcing and contract management. You're an administrator, then you will be having all the related access. Depending upon user access, you will be having different modules. So this is contract. When you click on sourcing, whatever related to sourcing module document that can be visible in sourcing tab. Once I click on sourcing, you can see my document. These are all the documents related to sourcing. Event status is related to sourcing module. So how many RFIs are in draft status? RFPs in draft status, auctions are in draft status. These are all the event status in sourcing module, draft, review, open, pending selection, and completed status. These are all the to-do activities, to perform certain activities. These are all notification comes in as part of your sourcing related. Similarly, when you click on contract, related to contracts, we are going to see different dashboard available for this. So my document related to contracts module, to-do activities for contract, and watcher projects for this one. So these are all modules, and on the right hand side, create, manage, resend. So create is a place where you can perform some events or actions. You can create a sourcing request, sourcing project. Since you're in upstream, you're seeing this option. Once you go to the downstream or a child side, you'll be seeing create purchase requisition, create invoice. Depending upon the site you're in there, it will change. Manage is the place where you control your managing activities. Manage administration related to upstream. When you click on core administration, that is related to your downstream solution. Resend will give you whatever the actions recently performed on particular things you can able to see from here. The same access, it is also available on your common actions. Create, it will give you 4 or 5, and then you must click on more, it will give you the same thing only. Either you're doing from here, remains same. Under manage, whatever you perform here, that is only available here. Then coming to the search menu, on the left hand side, you will be seeing at what database, not database, it's a module or what area you are going to check that. So once you click on this magnifier, project type. So on Ariba, all upstream related activities are called as a project only. What you do in the contract will be called as one project. In sourcing, it will be called as a sourcing project. In SLP also, project specific for suppliers. Okay, here you can select contract space. So based on your search filters, maybe I want to select contract status which are in published contracts. Then I can click on set. It will filter all the contracts which are in published status. You can see the status as published. Or you can change this filter to pending, draft, depending upon you. You can also add additional item or filters by clicking on this plus button. It will add one more option. or one more filter tab. Here you can select what you want to select. So against your contract workspaces, maybe you want to search by owner. Okay, then owner will come. Here I want to select, for example, Vijay Kumar. Done. So if he has created any contract and he is the owner for that, then once you click on search, Ariba will provide the list of those contracts. If you want to search in different area, you can go here and select, maybe you want to search something in sourcing project. Okay, you can able to do that. This is how you search it. You can also use this option also by clicking on search. You can further select what you want to search from. I want to search again in contract workspace. Then it will take you to the contract workspace. Both this search and this search also same one. Either you can use this magnifier or this magnifier. Print is basically just to print this page, so that nobody uses. Notifications is what you have received notifications that can be seen from here. And chart messages can be seen from here. This is a help module. So as a learner, this is very, very useful. By clicking on help center. So through the help center, you can learn anything also. So suppose you want to learn something on the sourcing, something on the contract, just enter your question. So then Ariba will provide you relevant documentation. For example, I want to know how to create a Dutch auction. So create Dutch auction. Okay, now you can see creating Dutch auction, and also you will be seeing what is on the textbook symbol, which says that is a document. Once you click on that, it will give you how you have to do a Dutch auction, what is prerequisites, and all these things can be accessible. Let's go back to Ariba Spend Management. Okay, that is your help menu. So it is for self-learning. So you can use this option to explore more from your training session. Click on home page again. I'll quickly finish doing the dashboard changes. Home page. Okay. Now on the you can see this wrench or configure tabs. By clicking on this, you can also add additional tabs. Current tab, you want to add any content to the current tab, you can do that. Edit properties of the tab or delete this particular tab also, you can able to do that. Or you can also create new tab, compare your settings with your default setting, revert tab to your default setting, which you can do. Now I'm just creating one tab. You do not like, you want to create your own. I will say my home tab. Okay. Do you want to display all the modules? Wherever you're having access, you want to do that, or you want to restrict this particular document. Like I want to create my home tab for sourcing, my home tab for contracts. Like that, you can do that, or you can use for all. That is what it is saying. You can click on display all, then that further drop down will not be there. Under my home tab, now I want to add my own things. Okay, now you can see tab has been added on the top. Here you can see what are all the common actions are available. I can say calendar. Just double click on that, calendar will be added. Double click on that, watch project will be added. Then you can also navigate. For example, for you, I want to bring it to once you can use this drag and drop option also. Where you want to put the drag and drop, you can do that. I want to place it here. Then Ariba Discovery and Ariba Sourcing General. Okay. Then one more thing important is action tiles. Here I'm just clicking on Add. You can see there are 4 action tiles have been added. Under General, you can also do News, To Do, My Documents, Reports, SAP Ariba Contracts, Buy SAPariba. Anything you can able to add using a drag and drop or just double clicking that also. Click on Done. So now my page is ready. Here I'm saying 4. I want to edit something more, expiring contract. By clicking on this, main is all tiles. This is called tiles. So again, this is an interview question as well as a certification question. How many tiles you can able to add in a dashboard? Maximum 5 tiles can be added or less than that. Either if you don't want this 5, you can click on remove. Or if you want to replace something, you need to delete one. For example, event status, I don't want. Click on remove. Once delete, then on the left hand side, you see now select options are available. So here I want to add my invoices. Okay, then click on done. That tile is replaced with my invoices tile. So this is how you can navigate. You can try yourself also navigating your dashboard settings. If you don't want to go, you can go to restore defaults also. And now I don't want this tab. I have done for a testing purpose. I want to delete. So I'll go to the wrench box and delete it. Anytime you want to refresh, see this message what it is asking when I'm clicking here. You want a confirmation, right? Because of that selection, I'm getting this tab. If in the settings, if you're selecting this option is not required, without asking you, it will delete only. So you're deleting the current tab on knowledge construct, select what you want. Delete the selected tab, do not delete the selected tab. So if you don't want to show this, you can tick mark this. I want to delete the selected tab. Click on done. The tab I have created has been deleted.